It was a big week in newsrooms around the country, and footage of violent and chaotic protests in Victoria led the way.
You can see it here. Here you go. They're quite literally throwing things at the police as they're trying to do their job.
Yeah, that was really difficult to see.
One pest in particular thought it would be a great idea to repeatedly harass a woman that we had on the ground while wearing an ADF uniform and clown makeup.
They're calling for an end to this military weapons expo that is happening today. They want to see it called off. Multiple offences including obstructing and assaulting police as well as arson. These people will face court at a later date. 27 officers were also assaulted during these and they have been treated for medical injuries. Now, hello, how are you going? Now, in terms of what we've got, we've asked a number of protesters why they're actually here, and they're obviously protesting against Israel at the moment, but we asked them would they support places like Iran, Russia and China to stop weapons being used in those countries. Take a listen.
And it turns out that this nutjob is quite the attention seeker. When she isn't slandering our troops, this great intellectual mind is a cosplayer with Free Palestine in her handle. She also says be kind and have morals in her bio. I don't know quite how she squares that charge with harassing a woman just trying to do her job and report the news. But annoying and ridiculous people are just one thing. There was also more dangerous moments of the protest, like this ABC reporter experiencing the kindness and morality of protesters firsthand.
Hold on, excuse me. We're just obviously here right now at the moment. Watch out. No. So we have obviously a bit of an issue at the moment. We have security here trying to stop. Would you please get out of the camera? Get out of the camera. At the moment, we're obviously trying to report on this.
And these peaceful protesters also surrounded the commercial free-to-air journalists as well.
Just being a lot of...
Yeah, Tegan, we might just...
They're moving and police are obviously trying to keep ahead of them, ahead of their next move.
Now, it is funny that I only ever hear these protesters complain about our weapons build-up and our military build-up. You don't often hear them talking about China's military build-up, which is the exact reason we need to invest in our defence force. For example, the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute reported in April that total military expenditure had reached $2,443 billion, and the 10 largest spenders in 2023, led by the United States, China and Russia, all increase their military spending. But yes, here in Australia, we are the immoral ones, apparently, even if the facts disagree. Well, joining me this week on the show is the Australian's Darren Davidson and Sky News contributor James Bolt. James, the thing that I really got bothered by with this protest was before the protest kicked off, all the organisers were saying, well, this is just going to be peaceful. You know, we're filled with kindness and love. And then they are a rabble of violent buffoons surrounding these female journalists on the ground. How does this morality argument play out?
Because when people show you who they are, believe them. They can say, oh, we're peaceful protests, or they can say we're devoted to a cause. But, I mean, actions speak louder than words. If you are devoted to a cause that you feel is bigger than yourself, you're not going to celebrate seeing your face on camera, as that woman in ridiculous clown makeup did on social media after that. If you're a peace protester, you're not going to start harassing reporters and police. And if you're someone that feels, I stand up for innocence and I stand up for justice, you're not going to start harassing horses. When people show you who you are, believe them. But the good thing the positive part of all this protest is they said that they were expecting 25,000 people. Now, our reporters on the ground said 25,000 was a bit of an overshot, but let's take them at their word. They got 25,000 people down there. I got the calculator out. 25,000 people is 0.48% of Melbourne's population, which means you have 0.48% of people being buffoons, as you say, and then 99.52% of people thinking they're morons. So in the grand scheme of things, justice will win out.
It's the radical vocal minority. It's always the way, Darren. It's the people who represent this very fringe viewpoint, are the loudest, the most violent. I think they undo their own cause. I think there's legitimate questions around how Australian weapons are used, who we sell. I think that's a completely legitimate thing to inquire about, but you undermine yourself if you grab horse poo and you start flinging it at cops.
Yeah, look, nobody would deny them their right to protest and have their say, but as James said, there's probably a risk there that the media is, with its saturated coverage, amplifying a very vocal minority. I think the other thing about the protest was it was masquerading as an anti-war protest, but it was really, it was really supporting the demands of the murdering terrorist outfit, Hamas, that started the conflict.
It's such a good point. You don't hear them talking about Iran's military build-up. Everything's about the West, and the West should disarm. That's a problem in itself. There's this kind of anti-West hatred in there, this self-loathing, wanting to, I guess, make countries impotent. And look, so Iran is obviously a backer of Gaza, was involved in the attacks, and these people, as you said, they say they're anti-war, but they are kind of linked to the Palestinian movement quite intrinsically.
Yeah, and I think you make a valid point about security in the Indo-Pacific region. There's a very clear, immediate, present risk for the country right now, and our defence forces, as we well know, are very inadequate. But it was a very sickening, worrying protest. I also must say as well, I have a lot of sympathy for not just your reporters and the other journalists going about doing their jobs, but the public sector workers, the police that had urine thrown at them, and horrible abuse that they faced yesterday and throughout this week.